So today I'm going to be talking of the glue stick. There are many types of adhesives that can be used to glue objects, waterproof, secure things, cordage. But the one I am going to be talking about today is the glue stick made of hide. So during the hide tanning process, when you're scraping rawhide from a surface with a scraper, you have lots of flakes that come off of the hide, scraping, shavings. Those hide shavings could be useful for many things, mainly as a food source. What they used to do back in the day was they would use every part of the animal, even the scrapings from hide, skin. They figured out that if they save these shavings and boil them, it turns into a type of gelatin, or like a type of gravy when it's still fresh. People also figured out that this stuff is incredibly sticky. So when I make glue sticks out of hide glue, it's pretty much just the boiled shavings of rawhide, skin. It's also pieces of sinew. That's one of my tricks of the trade, in other words. You add sinew, you add shavings from rawhide, animal skin. You boil them together in a pot. In the olden days, they used to use stoneware, clay pottery, to boil things, or sometimes the stomach of a buffalo or the hump of the buffalo on the back, a piece of rawhide, a cooking vessel. When they used to boil things back in the olden days, if using a hide vessel, a rawhide skin for boiling, they would take river rocks, heat them in the fire. They would grab them with a pair of wooden tongs. They would take those rocks and deposit them into that skin, that hide, that would then be filled with water. When that rock is dropped in there, it boils. It starts to steam. When that happens, it gets very, very, very hot quickly. You only need 1 or 2 stones in a hide of water to make it boil. But you have to keep taking stones out and putting them in to keep it boiling. You would boil your hide shavings, your scrapes, your flakes, with the sinew as well. And you would basically thicken the whole thing. When I say thicken, I mean that is how they used to make soups back in the day, by boiling hide shavings. It was used as a food back then. But someone figured out if you get a stick and you dump it in that hide gel, keep dipping it like a candle, keep rolling it, and making a candle that's pretty much just taking the wick and dunking it in wax again and again. This is how a glue stick is made. You get your piece of wood and you keep dipping it in that solution again and again, the one made out of cooked hide. This is basically just gelatin, natural gelatin. A glue stick made out of hide is almost pure cellulose. Cellulose is the thing that's inside of your skin that makes it nice and supple, flexible, or when it dries out, it gets very, very hard. Either cellulose or celluloid, I'm mistaken, but it makes the surface of a dried skin, rawhide, very hard. But when it dries on your glue stick, it turns into almost a translucent, hard material. That is a water-based glue. When soaked in water, warm water, it gets the glue nice and sticky again. That is an important glue used in flint knapping, making of arrowheads, making of arrows. When you tie the arrowhead to the shaft, to the long wooden stick that it's attached to, you use sinew, the thread, but you coat it in hide glue that basically acts as a natural laminate to your sinew. It hardens it. It makes it more durable. An arrowhead needs to be strong, but so does the connection to the shaft. When used with hide glue and sinew, that pretty much makes a natural fiberglass. That is going to last for many years, many hunts. So hide glue is one of the most important things, either used in making tools, When you're adding it with rawhide, lace, or strand, wet rawhide that is stretchy, flexible, you run that glue stick along the side of it when it's wet. That turns it very, very hard when it dries. When they used to make rawhide shields in warfare, they used the thick parts of the buffalo hide to make the shields. But they used to take that glue stick made of hide, that hide glue stick. They would rub it on that shield while it was still wet. Once that dries and shrinks, it turns into a very hard surface. That extra glue helps seal it up, helps soak into the wet skin, makes it very durable. One thing you can also use the glue stick for is for painting. When painting certain surfaces that were very hard, like rawhide, they would typically use the glue to add the pigment to the hide to make it stick. When painting leather, you just use water paints. Basically, by using your hide glue in that paint, you pretty much turn it into acrylic paint, natural acrylic paint, something that sticks. But this one is prone to water or not resistant to water. So you have to remember this glue stick is water activated. It's like a glue stick you use in school, basically, yeah. But the hide glue stick can be used as a survival food as well. If you're without food and you just have water, you have a cooking pot, you can take that glue stick and throw it back in the pot and re-boil it. That pretty much reconstitutes it and gets it to go out into the liquid evenly. And you basically have a soup or a gravy that's ready on the go. But that hide glue stick can be used for many things, many purposes. Could be used for utility, could be used for maintenance, could be used for painting, ornamentation, could be used as a food source. But eating rawhide back in the day, animal skin, when it's cooked, that was a treat back in those days. So it had a lot of good memories with the old folks and the people back then. So that is the hide glue stick.